Okay. Good afternoon and welcome to Westminster Woods Public School. I'm Allison Stoffman and I'm the principal here. On behalf of the students, staff, and school community, we are delighted to have you all visiting us today. And I am very pleased to welcome and introduce the Honorable Liz Sandals, President of the Treasury Board and MPP for Guelph.
Well, thank you, Allison, and thank you, everybody, for coming. This is great that so many of you came along to hear today's announcement, and welcome to everybody. We've just been downstairs seeing some of the great things that the kids can do when they've got access to the technology, and it's interesting, certainly from my days as a trustee on Upper Grand, but I know with Wellington Catholic that it's very similar, is that when you're here in the city, it's not so hard to get the schools hooked up to internet service. But as you go north in the county, it becomes a huge challenge because historically many of the communities, as you get farther north in the jurisdiction of both boards, you get into communities where the whole community is really struggling to access internet service with any decent sort of bandwidth. So trying to provide what you can provide in schools that are more technologically up to date everywhere in the county, or two counties in the case of Upper Grand, is a real challenge for school boards. And it's not just here in Guelph and Wellington and Dufferin that would be an issue. That issue plays itself out all over the province as you go from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. So I am absolutely delighted that we have Minister Hunter here with us today, our Minister of Education. Mitzi obviously represents Scarborough Guildwood in Toronto, but her first cabinet post was as the Associate Minister of Finance, where she was responsible for the Ontario Retirement Pension Plan, and she was doing an amazing job at creating Ontario's own ORPP. But then, of course, as you all know, we finally negotiated a pan-Canadian agreement where CPP is expanding, which means Mesty had nothing to do. So therefore, she's now the Minister of Education, and she has lots to do again. So thank you so much, Mesty, for visiting us here in Guelph. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much. Thank you, Liz, for that amazing welcome, and of course, I followed you, who was the former Minister of Education and who became President of Treasury Board, and we still work very closely together in both our roles. And what a thrill is it for me to be here in Guelph with you, and just to see firsthand. Martha, I know we had a very brief conversation when we first met, and you said you have to come and visit Guelph. So here I am. I'm visiting, and with a very exciting announcement today, and just what our school systems are all about, our education systems are all about. I am very passionate about technology. It was actually my first career was in technology, and looking at the tech sector and what it means to communities. And I think that what it means to schools and to students and to 21st century learning is absolutely essential and vital. And we have to ensure that no student, no school board is left behind, that we all go forward together and really use technology. So I want to say thank you, Principal Stoffman, for having us here at your beautiful school and for welcoming us to Westminster Public School. And also, I just want to say what an incredible job you and your team are doing at this school. always, when I visit schools, I always look inside classrooms and look at the walls and just to see what students are proud of and what they're passionate of. And this is such a beautiful school. So I just want to say thank you for your warm welcome. And what a great space we're in. This is the Learning Commons. Which is great because I noticed that there's technology everywhere and you're integrating it as well with books. So how fabulous is that? So you've definitely created an environment where that empowers students, and I see that, where they are engaged in technology in a variety of ways, and this is really a terrific example of what Ontario is trying to accomplish province-wide. We want to provide all students in our publicly funded education system with access to new, innovative ways of experiencing learning in their classroom, and that's because the world we live in is changing at a constant pace. We spend so heavily on technology to communicate. And when you think about it, we use technology to gather information, we use technology to buy and sell goods, to manage our personal finances, and also to engage in the learning as global citizens. And that's definitely what I have seen here today. So it's clear that as students move forward in their careers, whether it's in healthcare, agriculture, that's big in Guelph.
That's big in Guelph.
Tourism, education, manufacturing, finance, or really any other sector, that technology is going to play a central role in that, and an even greater role in their lives and in their futures as we move forward. And we know that students are using their own devices to complement the learning that they are already doing in classrooms. I actually just saw that just right now with the demonstrations in Ms. Montague and Ms. Furnival's classroom. So they were in a Google classroom working on symmetry. And I could really tell from going around and listening to the different students that they were all at different learning levels, even though they were all going to achieve very similar. They're going to end up at the same place, but you can really tell that their computer skills were varied. And I think that that's important, that they have the tools and the resources that really supports their learning. So it's really wonderful to see that. So what is clear is that more than ever, it's imperative that all students, regardless of where they attend school, have equitable access to e-learning opportunities. And that's why I'm so proud to announce that we're making this a reality through the Broadband Access for All Students program. So this program addresses three needs. First, it invests in new fiber optic infrastructure that connects schools to an internet service provider. Second, it will increase network capacity to handle larger amounts of data required to use new and emerging technologies in the classroom, like we saw in our Google Hangout. And third, to update school board network technology so that students can access the internet directly, rather than through the board's data center, which slows down connectivity speeds. Broadband connectivity acts as the highway for students to get online. And in a recent survey, 82% of Ontario's school boards had broadband speeds that were lower than the current global standard of 1 meg per second per student. This program has been put in place to solve this problem and to address this gap and ensure that all students have access to the necessary tools to reach their full potential, and to ensure that all students have access to meet that global standard of 1 megabyte per second per student. So over the next year, our government has already begun improving broadband infrastructure for over 180 schools as part of the first wave of this program. This phased approach is being rolled out in school boards across all regions of the province, from Southern Ontario to Northern Ontario, like right here in Guelph. So, where the Upper Grand District School Board and the Wellington Catholic District School Board have been working together with the Ministry of Education to enhance connectivity in their region by the upcoming 2017-18 school year. So one reason that these boards were selected for the first wave is because of their willingness, your willingness to work in true partnership. And we really value that. When the Upper Grand District School Board has upgraded the network of fiber infrastructure serving schools in their board, they will then share the network components with the Wellington Catholic District School Board, and this is a groundbreaking partnership. This will allow us to learn more about shared fiber infrastructure between boards and see how it can be used effectively in future phases of the project. So thank you so much for your collaboration and your partnership and willingness to work together. Across the province, more than 70,000 students will have access to broadband connectivity that they need to better access those digital resources that are so important to their success, like we saw just now in the classroom. And this is just the beginning. We will continue to work with boards to strengthen broadband infrastructure over the next 4 years until every student in our publicly funded education system has access to an adequate level of broadband connectivity. So we know the use of online learning resources will continue to grow, and this is essential to meeting the current and the future needs of our students. So I'm confident in today's modern world, which is so dependent on the latest technology, that this will take our world-class education system to even greater heights. So I want to say thanks again to Westminster Woods Public School for warmly welcoming us here today and allowing us to meet your students. And I will turn it over to Martha. You're going to speak? Okay, turn it over to Martha, and then we'll come back for some questions.
Thank you, Minister, and thank you very much for the opportunity to say a few words on this beautiful sunny day. First, I'd like to thank the Minister for her great memory. I met her at a cabinet meeting that was in Guelph last year, and when you consider the thousands of people that Minister Hunter meets in a month, let alone in a year, the fact that she remembered our encounter and that I'd asked her to come back and she did is a wonderful tribute to this woman. So thank you so much for that. And we really do welcome your announcement today. The Broadband Modernization Program, and I first will acknowledge John McCormick, if you could just wave from the back. He is the impetus behind this, and he is aided and abetted by 3 of our technology fellows who are sitting in the second row, Ryan, Sandro, and Bill. Thank you very much for being here today. This is your project, and this is your day. It is really going to help us to update our networks to achieve 1 meg, which you mentioned, per second per student, which is the initial target. And the program will help us to address student equity concerns, particularly in our rural schools, as the Minister mentioned, where sufficient internet capacity has been an issue all along. The improved broadband network service will support a greater number of users. It will allow more students to bring their own devices, and Bill and I know because we introduced the Bring Your Own Device, BYOD it is called, to this board many years ago, and this will facilitate our initiative, which we developed, Bill, all those many years ago. This improved service will allow our schools to move more cloud applications without intermittent and slow internet connection. And we all know how it feels when it's the middle of the day and we're in a huge rush and we're trying to get a report written and get it produced and get it sent, and the internet just freezes and it can't go anywhere, and we mutter at the internet under our breath. Well, this will not be happening anymore. So that's wonderful. It will help us to utilize a virtual classroom learning environment more easily. This will provide a more modern approach to learning and training practices which will support global competencies, which is very, very important. In addition, this increased network capacity will ensure that technologies, and you mentioned a Google Classroom, well, children with special needs often use Google Read and Write, and that will help them as well, and other sorts of assistive technology which they use. It will provide additional opportunities for our boards to increase the resources and supports which we give to our network monitoring and security, which heaven knows, gentlemen, we need. It will increase affordability as school boards can work together to share infrastructure and find cost efficiencies, and thank you for commenting on our partnership, which goes back decades. In addition to what the funding will do for our students, we're very appreciative of the project leadership opportunity for our board across the province, and we do commit to providing leadership across the province to the extent that you would be wanting us to do that. We're there. Upper Grand and Wellington Catholic have a long, long history of working together. Liz Sandals, way back when she was a trustee, and even before that when she was a parent who used to delegate quite frequently to our board, will remember we used to do co-op together way back in the day. I think we started co-op together with George King at GCVI probably 40 years ago. That's how long our partnership has gone with doing things together, and we look forward to collaborating on the development and implementation of solutions for this project and the opportunity to share our learnings with other school boards across the province. And I've mentioned our partnership, and our partnership does have a CEO at the head of it. My colleague and my friend is Tamara Nugent. She's the Director of Education for Wellington County and Catholic District School Board, and I would welcome Tamara to come and have a few words.
Thank you, Director Rogers. She mentioned how BYOD revolutionized classrooms, and we have a new strategy at Wellington Catholic, and it's BYOITG, which is bring your own IT guy. So I want to just acknowledge the work that Louis Gomes has been doing behind the scenes. So on behalf of Senior Administration and the Board of Trustees, I'd like to express my gratitude for the partnership with Upper Grand District School Board, and most especially to the Minister of Education, Minister Hunter, for your vision and commitment to the Broadband Initiative. The strength of partnerships such as this is in the people who can move ideas to action, and we are gifted with strong relationships and people who are open to new ideas and moving them to action. This investment in infrastructure empowers our educators and creates the conditions necessary for our students to engage in inclusive, innovative, and collaborative learning environments. As we expand the highway for technology, we can also tap students' natural curiosity and deepen and transform learning and support the development of the types of knowledge, skills, and characteristics that will lead our children and our youth to success. The Broadband Initiative not only lays a new highway, it lays a foundation that leads us closer to the development of lifelong learners and responsible citizens in a globally connected and technologically intensive world. Thank you from all of our digital learners, our staff, and our students for this investment and infusion of resources into our community, our boards, and our schools. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martha and Tamara. Are there any questions that the media would like to ask at this time? If not,
what's the cost of the program?
So this investment will be $50 million over 4 years, and this will pay for all 3 waves. So this is the first wave that we're in right now, and there will be 2 subsequent waves.
How many schools are there in under how many are there in the province?
5,000 schools in the province, yes. So this first wave will address the broadband connectivity needs of about 180 schools. Everyone's good? Okay, thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.